The studio lights glowed warm and golden across the set as Jelly Roll walked out from behind the stage curtain, his familiar broad smile sparking an eruption of cheers from the audience. He lifted his tattooed hand, waving in that humble, almost bashful way that told everyone he still wasn't used to this level of love. His energy filled the room, soft, grateful, genuine, like someone who never forgot what it felt like to be on the outside looking in. Sarah stood up halfway to greet him, Sunny clapped enthusiastically, and Whoopi grinned as if she knew the segment was about to be heartfelt and special. But Joy Behar sat with her arms folded even before he took his seat. Jelly Roll settled in, adjusting slightly as the mic pack clipped to his waistband shifted. The applause faded and the camera rolled in tight, catching that signature twinkle in his eyes. Sarah started things off with her usual warmth, leaning forward with a smile that mirrored the audience's excitement. "We're so happy you're here," she said. "Your new album is touching so many people. Fans say it's changing lives." Jelly Roll nodded, his voice soft. "That means the world. Every song came from a place of hurt and healing. I just want people to know there's hope." The crowd let out a collective "ah," but before the energy could settle, Joy jumped in with a tone sharp enough to cut through the entire studio. "Hope is great," she said, waving her hand dismissively, "but let's talk reality." Sarah blinked. Sunny's head turned slightly, a subtle sign of tension. Whoopi's lips pressed together in a way that longtime viewers instantly recognized. Joy leaned forward, her posture stiff, her eyes narrowing in that way she used when she was preparing an ambush disguised as a question. "You've built this redemption narrative, people love that stuff. But your past," she paused dramatically, letting silence stretch out, "isn't exactly something to be proud of, is it?" The air tightened. A few audience members shifted uncomfortably. The applause sign remained dark. Even the floor crew, who were used to unpredictable live TV, found themselves pausing mid-step. Jelly Roll kept his smile, but it thinned around the edges. He folded his hands, grounding himself. "My past isn't pretty," he said. "But that's the point of redemption. You come from a broken place and you grow. I talk about it so people know they can change too." Joy raised an eyebrow. Yes, the inspirational monologue. But don't you think you're glorifying your bad boy history? Especially when young people are watching. Sunny inhaled sharply. Sarah muttered a soft, "Oh boy," under her breath. Whoopi turned her head slightly, staring at Joy with the kind of look that suggested she wanted to intervene, but knew the explosion hadn't quite reached its peak. Jelly's expression shifted, barely, but unmistakably. His eyes hardened just a touch, the way someone's do when they recognize they're being judged rather than questioned. Still, he answered with grace. "I never glorify anything. I tell the truth about the consequences. I talk about addiction, homelessness, jail, losing people I loved. I'm honest so someone else might avoid the same mistakes." Joy shrugged. "Sounds like you're making a career off your worst decisions." Gasps rippled through the audience. One woman in the front row covered her mouth. Another whispered something to her friend. The cameras stayed locked on the table, but the tension was so thick it practically became another character. Whoopi leaned back, muttering just loud enough for her mic to catch, "Lord, grant me patience," which drew a scattered nervous laugh from the crowd. Jelly sat still for a long beat, staring at Joy with a weight that surprised even him. He'd handled tough interviews, awkward moments, disrespect disguised as journalism, but something about the way she said it, about the casual cruelty of her tone, hit a nerve he rarely let people touch. He cleared his throat slowly. "Joy," he said carefully, "I don't think sharing pain is the same as glorifying it. People relate to struggle." Joy smirked. "Oh, I'm sure they do. Everyone loves a celebrity telling them they can overcome if they just work hard enough. But not everyone gets your second chances." Sunny turned her head sharply. Sarah stiffened as if bracing for impact. Whoopi's jaw tightened. Jelly leaned forward slightly, elbows resting on the table. His voice deepened, not in anger yet, but in clarity, in a kind of wounded honesty. "You're right, not everyone gets the same chances. That's why I try to use mine to help other people get theirs." "Oh please," Joy shot back. "You're a performer. You're selling stories. Let's not pretend you're some kind of prophet." That was the moment the temperature in the room spiked. The audience let out a collective gasp. A man in the second row actually said, "Wow," under his breath. A producer offstage mouthed to another, "Cut to commercial." But the director shook his head. This was TV gold. Jelly blinked once, slow and deliberate, the way someone does when they're pushing down the instinct to react instantly. He sat back, inhaling deeply, the kind of breath a person takes not to calm down, but to decide which version of themselves they should let out. There was a flicker in his expression, hurt, anger, resignation, defiance, all mixing in a way that only someone who had fought their entire life to be understood could fully hold. The silence that followed Joy's last jab felt like it stretched across the entire studio, thick as smoke and twice as suffocating. Every face at the table froze, Whoopi's eyes widened, Sunny's lips parted in disbelief, and Sarah slowly leaned back as if instinctively trying to give Jelly Roll more space, or maybe protect herself from whatever was about to happen. The audience held its breath, hundreds of eyes locked on the country star who suddenly looked nothing like the jovial guest they greeted minutes earlier. He sat there, shoulders squared, breathing slow and heavy, the weight of a lifetime of judgment tightening every muscle along his jaw. Joy didn't notice, or maybe she did, and didn't care. She tilted her head, tapping her pen against her note card like she was warming up for another blow. "So," she said, voice dripping with that trademark sarcasm, "are we done with the inspirational speeches now? Or should I get tissues ready?" A few audience members gasped. One woman whispered, "Why is she doing this?" Another shook her head, glaring. Jelly Roll didn't blink. His fingers drummed once against the tabletop, slow, controlled, deliberate. He cleared his throat, but it wasn't the soft, polite sound from earlier. This one was sharp, final, a signal. "Joy," he said, voice deep and steady, almost eerily calm, "you think this is funny, don't you?" Joy froze, mid-smirk. She hadn't expected him to come at her directly. Not like this, not with that tone. Sunny leaned in with a quiet, "Oh boy." Whoopi let out a sigh that sounded half irritated, half exhausted. She knew exactly what kind of segment this was becoming. Jelly Roll continued, eyes locking with Joy's in a way that made even the camera operators shift uncomfortably. "You think people talking about their trauma is a joke? Or do you just think I'm a joke?" Joy opened her mouth, ready to deflect with humor, but Jelly didn't give her the chance. "You're sitting up here mocking my past like you know anything about where I came from," he said. "But you don't. You've never had to fight addiction, or homelessness, or bury friends who never got a second chance. You've never had to look at your own life and wonder how the hell you survived it." A few audience members clapped softly, unsure whether they were allowed to. The floor manager signaled them to quiet down, but the tension only rose higher. Joy leaned back in her chair, forcing a laugh. "Relax, it's just a conversation." Jelly shook his head slowly. "No, conversations are respectful. This," he gestured around them, "this is you trying to humiliate me." Even Whoopi murmured under her breath, "Lord have mercy." Joy scoffed, "Oh please, you're a celebrity, you're not that fragile." "I'm not fragile," Jelly said instantly. "But I won't let you shame the people who watch me because they see themselves in me." "You're not taking shots at me, Joy. You're taking shots at every addict in recovery, every person trying to start over, every soul who feels like the world already gave up on them." The entire audience erupted into applause, loud, passionate, raw. It wasn't just support, it was catharsis. They'd all seen Joy be sharp, snappy, unfiltered, but this time it hit differently. This time there was someone on the other end who wouldn't shrink, wouldn't laugh it off, wouldn't smooth it over for the sake of TV. And Joy noticed the shift. Her expression faltered. Sarah shot her a sympathetic look that said maybe stop. Sunny watched the unfolding conflict like someone mentally calculating whether legal would step in. Whoopi rubbed her forehead with the heel of her hand. Joy cleared her throat. "Okay, all right, let's not get dramatic." Jelly Roll actually laughed, but not kindly. It was a cold, disbelieving sound that echoed through the studio. "Dramatic? Joy, you ambushed me. You came into this interview looking to make me the punchline, and you think I'm being dramatic?"